or race, we accept these kind of basic principles. Like for something to exist, it requires the will. With the absence of will,
Who states that? For example,
everyone.
For example,
Even you do. Like you accept it in the case of your bag, but you don't in the case of the universe.
Does water have a will?
So water's not consciousness.
Exactly, but yet, if water flows against rocks, it can change what the rock is, right? So it has an ability to change something with no will. So we can clearly say already from your example that this idea that something cannot happen without a will is simply not true. Because nature does stuff without a will, and yet stuff comes to be.
Yeah, with that's more to do with the laws of physics.
No. But your assertion is a necessary proposition. You're saying in all cases, you cannot have something come that has no will. That's what you're saying.
We're speaking about inanimate objects rather than animate
but you're
objects.
Saying that nothing can happen by something that doesn't have a will. That's what you're saying.
Something cannot come into existence. Something that exists.
Okay, so something that
exists without a will.
So have we observed everything there is to exist?
But from experience,
exactly.
like
It
inductively.
comes to the problem of induction. We're just going to say, based on all our induction, that that's true. But have we observed everything to know that in all cases that's true?
So you're talking about the problem of induction, yeah?
Yeah.
Are you pro-science or anti-science? Like you coming from an atheistic, agnostic background?
I'm not very good at science. I'm a philosopher. I'm not going to go into
philosophy.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into science because I'll just straw man that and embarrass myself.
What's your name?
Ananda.
Anand. Do you believe
this
in...
This is Zishan.
Zishan. Yeah. Anand?
Ananda.
Ananda?
Yeah.
Okay. Hindu?
Buddhist.
Buddhist? Yeah. Okay. Born Buddhist or converted to Buddhism? Okay, fantastic. So your issue is with regards to the scientific process?
No. He's just discussing to me about creation, about his beliefs. So I'm just being Socratic in this sense. I'm trying to ask him, why do we believe these things are true? I haven't made any counter arguments to say, oh, this is why I don't believe X is true. He's just saying, I believe X is true. I'm saying, how do we agree that there is a first cause, right? Principal cause. I'm saying, how do we know that has a mind? How do we know it has a will? How do we come to those conclusions, right? That's what I'm asking.
Okay. What conclusions have you come to already? So at least, because rather than us making up or just reinventing the wheel, let's agree on the things that both of us agree on anyway.
So like I'm saying, I agree logically, infinite regress cannot be true. There is some prime thing that causes other things, or other things to exist. I agree there, right? What I want to hear is to how we bridge the gap to a God with a mind, a God with a will, a God who wants you to act this way, a God who doesn't want you to act that way. How do we get to those things, right?
Okay, so you do believe in a prime mover, as it were, yeah?
As Aquinas would assert, yes.
Okay, so that prime mover, naturally, you accept that there was no one before him, yeah?
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, no, I don't know what no one. I'm just saying there is some principal cause.
There's no being before that being.
I mean, I'm not even saying it's a being yet. I'm saying how do we even know it's a being in the way that you guys meet? I'm saying that all I know is that it's a primary first cause.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
Now I'm trying to ask, how do we know what that is?
Okay. So when we look at
So this is my first big one. Everyone's watching me right now.
Like a Christmas tree.
This is tense. I better not make no shit arguments. You know what I mean?
you know what? There's no like you say.
I know.
Yeah. There's no.
If you next to them, they're gonna,
Yeah.
the sound is gonna go.
There's no such kind of bad arguments per se, as long as you're honest, intellectually honest. And the thing is, look, Ananda, I'm not here to convert you. I'm not here to kind of score points over you. If you feel uncomfortable or whatnot, you can just walk off.
No, I'm perfectly happy. Right
Yeah,
now.
alhamdulillah.
This is my first time actually out here today.
Yeah.
You know, I've only really debated online, so having this bare people is kind of crazy. You know?
Yeah. It's kind of nice. It's different as well, isn't it?
It definitely keeps me on my toes.
It does. But I'm not here to kind of swoop you off your toes either. You want to take your time, you take your time, whatever it is. So I guess the point that I'm trying to say here is, if we start off with something elementary, I mean, we agreed that there is a prime cause. Yeah. So when it comes to this prime cause, we accept that the prime mover, the first one, whoever it is, there was no one before that cause. So independence. is something we can attribute to that.
Okay, great.
Yeah?
That's a great start.
Okay. Okay, so we have independence. Hashim, you can come as well. Yeah, you can come as well. Yeah, you can come as well. So you got independence.
Okay, I
Now, when you're familiar with the contingency argument, yeah?
agree. Yeah.
So that's, I'm not going with the causation argument, even though both of them can be melded into one. I'm going with the dependency argument. You can't have an infinite regress of dependent things, therefore there has to be a necessary being at the end of the chain.
I agree.
Yeah, so the necessary being is whom we're dealing with now. We acknowledge that it has to be independent. So when the necessary being, from the necessary being comes something contingent. Now the question is, that contingent thing, why is it one way and not another way? That's our question. You understand where I'm going, yeah? So the fact that it's one way and not another way, when it could be any other way, shows that the independent being has a will.
I don't know that.
So will, the thing is, look, it's logical for you to assume that the independent being has a will. Reason being, if, for example, the car could be red, blue, or green. You seem really cold. Do you have like a coat or anything?
I was warm when I left the house, to be real, but I'll be good. Lovely sentiments.
You know what? Let me give you my
please,
thing.
please,
You know what? I'm actually not cold,
No,
but
please.
seeing you shiver, it's gonna make me.
No, I'm good. I don't feel uncomfortable or anything like that. I'm like,
As soon as you do, bro, I've got a shirt underneath.
I appreciate that.
I'll give you my one.
Very lovely sentiment.
The only reason I looked at you, I was looking at your build, and we're both equally skinny, so we're good.
Yeah, but no, I'm fine.
As soon, bro, please. No, honestly. As soon as.
That's lovely. I appreciate that.
Thank you. So yeah, so red, blue, green. If I opt for red as opposed to blue and green, I am making a choice. I'm willing. That's a sign of a will. Yeah, that it's one way and not any other way. So the fact that you have a contingent creation that's emerging, that's being formed, and it could be one way, not any other way, indicates logically that there has to be a will. It's actually a Ghazalian argument.
Sure. Okay, so to ask you, when you say will, does it have to be something that's... Okay, so what I really want to ask is, what do you take a will to mean, and what do you take the nature of God's will to be? Because obviously, we're not going to say that God has a series of thoughts one after the other. We're not going to say that. Okay? It can't be a temporal chain of thoughts, right? So, in what way does God's will act? In what way is God's will?
So when we're talking about will here, I'm going to keep it very simple. Very similar to the question or the example that I gave. That the fact that something is one way and not another way indicates a choice being made.
See, but I don't know if it indicates an intelligent choice being made. It can be something that's...
No problem.
Right.
But we can put it on ice. But we can logic.
I agree so far.
Yeah, okay. So, bro, you're more than welcome to jump in at any time you want.
I'm just listening.
Yeah, any time, bro. Just jump in. So now we've got will, yeah? Now, when you look at what's around us, the contingencies of the universe, because the universe is contingent, would you say that the universe is intelligent? There's
The universe in of itself.
there is intelligence.
It's derived in the universe.
There is intelligence within the universe.
Yeah, so are you going to say that intelligence will arise from something that's not intelligent?
Yeah, so I'm saying that again with intelligence.
So that comes back to induction.
Okay, go ahead.
So inductively, have we observed all ways in which intelligence comes to be?
No, at the moment we're talking about thought experiments. We're not talking about us having to, and that you don't necessarily have to observe everything. For example, a necessary being. You've agreed that, but we don't.
But necessary things are true by their very nature. We're not talking about a necessary statement. We're talking about a contingent statement.
So you're talking about deduction, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm saying that when we're coming to this conclusion that it should be this, it should be that way, how do we reason that that's the intellect and not do some natural proclivity of the thing?
Okay. So if let's just carry this on. So we're on intelligence at the moment. So if there is intelligence, would you say that intelligence can come from non-intelligence?
I'm saying that I have not observed all ways in which intelligence comes to me. So I cannot assert, I can say, I think it's logical based on what I can induct right now.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, which is fine.
Let's make two distinctions here. the first distinction is for us to know truth and certainty. We're not claiming truth or certainty.
You'd agree that's the logic and rationale, right?
Yeah, so what I would say is we're trying to arrive to the inference to the best explanation. So the inference to the best explanation,
Possible audience.
sorry?
Possible audience.
Okay, is that inference to the best explanation?
Kind of. You know like Occam's razor?
No, Occam's razor is different.
So you're not trying to say that basically because it's
Occam's
the most-
razor says that it's sometimes the simplest things that are the answer as opposed to...
Kind of.
Yeah, that's a very simplified kind of way.
Kind of more put in a sense of possible to say that while there could be other answers, this stands to be the most viable answer. Is that what you're basically saying?
No,
No. Okay.
I'm saying it's the most logical of the possibilities.
So the most valid.
Okay, you can say valid. Yeah.
Yeah. So what makes us decide that this is the one? Just even though, for example, you could say in like a murder case, oh, the boyfriend was in the house and the girlfriend's been murdered.
Yeah.
Very, very logical to say it was him, right?
Yeah.
But we don't account for the fact that it could any number of other things could happen in contingent things, in contingent scenarios, right? So when we're talking about contingent things, I don't know how we decide that because there's just one answer and it seems more logical. Why do we decide then that that is the answer? Right? What gives us that certainty?
So the thing here is, when you take one thing by itself, for example, will, our argument's not being made solely by the will. Yeah? So it's will, we look at power, we look at intelligence, and then we go on from there. So what we're doing is we're scaffolding an argument, and then we're taking the inference to the best explanation from that. Now, again, we can attack the argument from different aspects, but when you're saying no, we have to have something that's objectively certain and objectively
I'm
true.
not saying we have to, I'm saying what gives one that certainty.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not claiming certainty. Yeah.
That's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah. That's why I said inference to the best explanation.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Did I claim certainty? Maybe.
No. I was just asking.
Okay, yeah. No worries. Yeah. So power. Yeah. I would also argue that the necessary being also has power as well, because power gets.
It sets in motion all things. Right?
Yeah. So power.
So motion has to have some start point that has push.
Yeah.
Sure.
So power comes from something with power, in other words.
Okay, great.
So you've got power, you've got intelligence, you've got will. These sorts of things make sense.
Yeah, I agree so
Yeah.
far. This is great.
Yeah. So where would you say that we're disagreeing? Because it seems like we're
Okay, so far
yeah.
I haven't per se disagreed. Obviously, the guy I had a previous conversation with, obviously, very different way that you approached it, right? But you've approached it very, very clear, point to point. So this is great. So I haven't really disagreed. I just asked him to explain why we come to these understandings. And you've
Yeah.
done that very excellently. You've done this very excellently. Why you done these understandings, right? So I have no disagreement so far with everything you stated. I agree completely. So then how do we then come to believing, okay, for example, I want to ask, when God created everything, right?
Yeah.
Is that one all-encompassing thought that encompasses all creation? Or is there a series of thoughts?
Sorry.
So when God creates everything, right?
Okay. So when you say God, yeah, let me.
We're just defining it the way that we have so far.
Yeah. So okay.
It has a will, it has power, it has some sort of intent, some sort.
Right.
So
So here now, what we do is we reach a juncture here. So we say that this independent being that has these following characteristics. Now, what does Islam say? So what I'm now doing is I'm giving you the Islamic conception, and we're seeing if it's
what's your aqidah?
yeah. So aqidah in Islam
No, I mean, what is yours?
is Muslim.
So you don't particularly hold to like an Ash'ari, Maturidi, or Atari Salafi position?
I'm a Muslim. We no, not on camera, because then what happens is certain people will take hold of certain things, and then things
So
get
I
blown
just
out of
want to know whether
proportion.
you're going to say like an Ash'ari will say when Allah descends to those heaven, they're going to say there's some way that it reflects His Majesty. They're going to say the angels come down and give mercy as a form of blessings, right?
Right.
Whereas the Atari is going to say no.
Let me even go to something more fundamental than that.
Okay.
So the four-pronged approach of any Muslim, regardless of their aqidah or whatnot, they take one of the last chapters of the Quran which because you're familiar with Ashari Maturidi, maybe you're familiar with the chapter as well. It's called the Surah Ikhlas, chapter of Ikhlas.
Beside you.
Yes, you know your stuff.
Oh, I'm a religious studies student.
At a university level or?
Oh, one day.
Okay, so you're doing independent studies?
Independent study, and then I'm starting in September essentially.
Okay, university?
No, I did a bit bad at school, so I had to do the access course route and then get into uni. But
Bro, I mean, you seem like you're on the right track.
hey, you're not unintelligent yourself. You know, you're not intelligent yourself.
So the thing here is, when it comes to the four-pronged approach, say he is God the one, the independent. Sorry,
That's how be.
that's
Will be,
Qul huwallahu ahad.
okay, sure.
Yeah, we're just staying very basic, very
So
simple.
you're not even talking about types of tawhid.
No, I'm not going into depth. I'm staying with something very fundamental. Something when it comes to Aqidah and stuff like that, you can debate with the Shaykh and stuff like that. Because the thing with that is, again, you need a specialized form of knowledge. I don't claim to be a scholar.
I completely respect.
Yeah,
If you ask me a question I didn't know, I wouldn't want you to be like, I'll answer it right now. You know, like I'm gonna do.
Yeah, exactly. No, I appreciate that. So fundamentally, the belief of every Muslim is say he is God the one, independent, doesn't beget nor is he begotten, and there's none like unto him. So if somebody now comes up with the criteria and says, oh, so and so is God, that person's God, what do you think? I will say, and sometimes, even when I'm discussing with people, I say, okay, what would be your criteria for a God? And a person would say, okay, he has to be strong, he has to be this, he has to be that.
So what you're saying is that the criteria that maybe someone like Aquinas is giving for what the necessary being is, you say that the attributes that God claims to have in the Quran, you say that aligns ontologically with that.
Yeah, so Aquinas, just remind me what Aquinas...
So Aquinas is just saying the unmoved mover, all objects have motion. In order for an object to have motion, it must be moved by another thing. We cannot have an infinite regress of movers, therefore there is an unmoved mover. And that argument stands independent of any Trinitarian, any particular religion. The five ways are purely designed to just prove that there is a necessary being.
Right.
And then you move on, and that's kind of how we've gone from the necessary beings established, then move on to why is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right?
That's nice, you've got the lingo.
My best friend's a Philistine Muslim, so.
Okay, and you have these discussions with him as well, yeah?
So,
Okay,
let's so since I kind of went to the deeper side of things, he's like, listen, like that's not, I'm just a regular Muslim guy,
Okay.
So we're out here discussing sort of thing.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So that's why I'm saying that, look, as a regular Muslim guy or somebody that, wants to know about God, as a Muslim, the yardstick or the pH test that we've been given is Surah Ikhlas. Yeah? So then from there you've got Aqidah Tahawiyya, and then from there is the interpretation of the Aqidah Tahawiyya that you'll get the Asharis, the Maturidis, and the Atharis and the likes, and for that you can go to specialized knowledge. But fundamentally, like, there being a prime mover, that prime mover has a will, has intelligence, has power. It's not logical that prime mover having power and having contingent creations, it doesn't make sense for him to leave us be because we're dependent upon him. It makes sense if, for example, there are a bunch of religions. Yeah, human beings, we have an innate disposition to believe in I'm so conscious, I'm seeing you shivering and it's making me feel so bad.
Nah, I'm really good, don't worry.
Okay, so when we believe that there's an innate disposition, that a lot of people believe in a God in a afterlife. Yeah, the fitrah, they believe in an afterlife, they believe in a God. So when so many religions believe that there is a being, that there is a prophet of sorts, that there is a book of sorts, then it makes sense for us to say, okay, philosophically it makes sense, rationally it makes sense, teleologically, when you look around us, you can, it makes sense that there's a purpose, and then there's everything else, everything around us has a purpose. Therefore, we must also have a purpose as well. Makes sense. Okay, that we didn't sporadically just come into being, just come into existence. So then it then coalesces into three kind of everyday discussions, which is, okay, when you see everything around you, would you say that there's a fourth option with this? That the universe, or us included in the universe, we were created, we created ourselves, or we were created from nothing? Do you believe that there's a further option that maybe I haven't mentioned?
No, I don't think it's that.
Which of, yeah,
So when you say we are created,
yeah.